Welcome back for my July TBR. It's a couple days late. Things went chaotic in my life. I made a community post a little bit about it. I have a more in-depth discussion on Patreon, but basically I needed my own book that's coming out, and I didn't want to do that while I'm trying to promote my book. But 'tis the way of the life. So on that depressing note, I have a lot of books that I'm going to be talking about this month just because I don't have the capacity right now to do a lot of other content, so I can manage reading a book. So that's what I'm gonna do this month. I have a lot more like witchy books to be discussing this month, more than other months. Like almost every day is gonna be a witchy book review, and then it'll kind of taper back off to like every other day-ish in August, but right now we're relying very heavily on the books. So currently I have got 21 books planned for this month. Some of them I've read and already got them up. Others I don't read them in order. I just randomly place them on the calendar and then I mark them off as I go, and like sometimes I have to rearrange them because I'm like, oh no, it's coming up. So I change it up a little bit, but for the most part these are kind of in the order you will be seeing them. So number one, I think you've actually possibly seen a couple of these. It's fine. So we have The Power of Candle Magic. I'm pretty sure you saw that because again this is supposed to go up on the 1st and it's now like the 5th. It's fine, life happens. So that review is already out, but I didn't love it. It wasn't my favorite. That one does have an extended discussion because when I yell at a book when I'm reading, that's typically when I do an extended discussion. Then we have Wicca Herb Magic. I will be recording that one today. I actually have it on my stack over here to be dealt with. But it's a Lisa Chamberlain book. Honestly, like, you can't go wrong. I love her work and I need to own them all at some point. Then we have Manifestation Magic. Again, you saw that yesterday. It's fine. Wasn't my favorite. The author and I just did not jive. There were some parts of it that I didn't really like, and others I was like, I guess, I mean, it's just personal preference, and others was like, I don't know that we should be doing that. But you can watch the full review of that one from yesterday. Moving on to one I have not read yet, though it is coming up on my TBR list. It is Witchful Thinking. This one took forever to get. Like, I requested this in like March, and I just barely got it. There were no other holds. I don't know why it took so long to get this book, but I finally have it, so now I'm reading it. This is one that I did read. This is The Little Book of Dragons from Llewellyn's Little Book series. I really was hoping it was gonna be like the unicorns. Needless to say, you should watch that video because it was definitely not. Then we are going to be doing some of the Llewellyn like yearbooks. I don't know what the series is called, but I just call them the yearbooks because it's based on the year and they have a bunch. And so I've been starting to read through those to see like which ones do I think I would ever like need to get year to year and read through. And like some of them I do think I would want to pick up every year, and others I'm like, not for me. So we have the Llewellyn 2024 Moon Sign book. That is the first time I have felt so inadequate for anything witchcraft in a long time, but wow, that one was a journey. And then because I am writing my death book, of course I had to do some final researchings again. I've already read these books. I don't even care. I loved them. So we have Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs? It is the more lighthearted of her books by Caitlin Doughty. So this is answering like the most random death questions that like specifically kids would ask, and like not just kids, but she does answer them in like a lighthearted way, but actually does answer the questions. And there's just some really interesting ones like, will your cat eat your eyeballs? And also like, do you continue to grow your hair and nails when you die? And there was even a mention from that one for the Norse mythology bits where it's like the ship is made out of like the nails of the dead. And like, it's just little fun things. Like, what happens if you die in space? What happens? And like, just a bunch of really random questions. It's a fun book on a very morbid topic. Then we have Wicca Crystal Magic. This is the one I'm actually currently reading. it's still good. I really love it. I think it's really interesting. I love Lisa Chamberlain. I need to own all of her books. Then we have The Witch's Wand. I'm always impressed by these because truly, how can you write about one tool for so many pages? And it doesn't feel too monotonous. I didn't love everything in the book, but it was good enough that even my husband is reading it right now. So like, it was interesting, and like, it comes from somebody who like professionally makes wands, which is always like, interesting. Then we have Llewellyn's Little Book of Tarot. This is another one as I'm learning the tarot right now, I'm like, I wish I had that book. I need to go buy that book. Cause like the pages are just, it has like I can't remember what it was called, like an instant answer or something. And sometimes you really need that. Then Llewellyn's 2024 Witch's Companion. I've read a number of the Witch's Companions over the years. This is just another one of those. I wanted to see how it was. I already read it. It was not terrible. Some of them are better than others, and I think this was the one that had a lot of the things that I liked. There was a few. I read this one, and then what was the other one? There's like a similar one that comes out, the Magical Almanac, I think, that are so similar that I was like, oh, I can't keep them separate anymore. It's been a few weeks since I read them. Because again, I am usually trying to be a month ahead, but then crap happens and you fall epically behind. So here we are. So then the next one is From Here to Eternity. This is another one of those books. It's a little more somber than Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs, but it's still very interesting. And it's more of like this curiosity of like how we handle death around the world. And like, I think everybody should read this book because like it makes you consider how we handle death. Because for the most part, my audience, y'all are in the US, sometimes Canada, and sometimes like the UK, Europe area. Like, for the most part, how we all handle death is pretty much the same-ish. For the most part, it's pretty much the same. Like, we have kind of a standardized way of dealing with it. Of course, it's going to be a little different everywhere. Like, even state to state, it's going to be a little different sometimes. Like, again, I live in, like, Mormonville. Like, we handle things a little different here. Like, we have funeral potatoes for a reason. Like, if you've never had funeral potatoes, we need to, because it is the most high-calorie comfort food ever that you just want to cook just because. Like, it's so good. But anyways, like, you don't really hear about, like, other parts of the world and how they handle death, and, like, it can be so different, and this book is just, like, you need to read through it because it is so fascinating. Then we have Fiber Magic. This is one I'm very happy to read through. It's one that's been on my to-be-bought list for a long time. Back when I was still buying books, I saw this and I was like, oh, I want to get it, I want to get it, I want to get it, but it's expensive. I don't know if I... So, it's at the library, so I've rented it. And it's about, like, crochet and knitting and magic. And, like, yes, because I semi-often crochet, so I'm very curious. Then we have Becoming Witch. I have no idea. So we'll see. Then we have Kitchen Table Tarot. I loved this book. It is my current, like, motivation for learning the tarot. It was so good. I need to buy a copy. Then we have Wild Witchcraft. I have no idea. I just see it all the time on Instagram. Everyone talks about this book. They're always posting about it, so I'm like, I should probably read that book. Then we have the Llewellyn 2024 Magical Almanac. Again, I've got this one and The Witch's Companion mixed up. But, like, thankfully I did the reviews after I read them, so, like, it's fine. I will remember in those videos, just not today, because also, this is after the chaos of my life, so we're just slowly getting back into work. Then we have Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. This is the most somber of the books from Caitlin Doughty, and it is her kind of memoir of getting into the death industry, working in a crematorium, and, like, you learn some details about stuff that you're like, oh, I didn't think about that, but that kind of fucks you up a little bit. Like, the one with, like, babies kind of still, like, lingers in the brain, and you're like, oh my god. Like, it's just, and, like, the donations of parts kind of fucks with your brain a lot. Like, there's just, that book is, like, you need to kind of be in a good mental place, but, like, a good mental place for dealing with, like, it's a hard topic. It's a heavy topic. It's a lot. But, like, it is so fascinating to learn about because it's behind the screen of, like, the pretty facade that we put on death in America, again, and, like, probably Canada and a lot of Europe too. But again, specifically here in the US, like, we have such a, like, disconnect, and it's weird to look behind the wizard's wall, so to speak, you know, like Wizard of Oz, where you're like looking behind the curtain and seeing how it actually goes. Like, it's a lot, but it's a good book. Then we have Llewellyn's Little Book of Spirit Animals. Also haven't read that. The little books have been hit or miss, so we'll see. Then we have Elemental Witchcraft. Also, I have no idea. It's a bigger book though, so that one is closer to like the size of To Ride a Silver Broomstick and like the other books from like that series from Silver Ravenwolf. So I'm very curious how quick I can get through that one. It's towards the end of the month, I'm pretty sure, because I'm gonna need time. And then lastly, there is Llewellyn's 2024 Herbal Almanac. So that one I also have absolutely no idea. I've never read the herbal ones before, but I want to read all of the like yearbooks that come out to see like which ones would I want to do. And so I'm curious if that's one that I would want to get again, or if it's gonna be like the moon sign one where I'm like, probably not for me. It's not the type of witchery I am into. So anyways, that is it for my books for July. I would love to hear which ones you are most excited about in the comments down below. Huge thank you to my patrons. I'll have their names here on the screen. If you'd like to support me and get access to exclusive content, it is patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Make sure to check out my blog. That is where you can find all of my content, including upcoming links for my book that's going to be coming out very soon. My proof copy for the paperback is coming soon, and the hardback is coming like next week. So do keep an eye out for those. I'm very excited for that book to be coming out, and then you can order it and buy it and support an author and her dream to be an author and like make money doing it. That would be magical if you would like to, you know, do that. I don't have pre-orders, but like, just keep an eye out for it. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.